Welcome to our Lunch with Dr. Coopwood podcast. It's time to catch up with another member of our exceptional team here at Regional One Health to talk about our premier behaviors. I'd be remiss if I didn't greet you the same way that you greet people every day for the past 10 years or when you're on the safety call. Good morning, good people. Welcome to our podcast. That's right. Today we're talking to Miss Lori Miner, nurse manager of the CCU. Lori is here to discuss the premier behavior that she lives every day. Have a contagious positive attitude. Just sitting down with her has made me feel better already. I look forward to getting insight into how all of us can bring that kind of positivity to our role in providing the best care for our patients at Regional One Health. Lori, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Coopwood.
Well, it is absolutely my pleasure. And right off the bat, I'm just going to ask a few questions, and we'll talk a little bit about how you embrace the contagious positive attitude. Are you just a naturally positive person, someone who jumps out of bed with a smile, ready to tackle the day, or do you have to work at it?
You know, I must admit that I am a natural individual that remain positive. Now, it didn't start off that way. I can tell you, growing up in my parents' home, it was an expectation that you choose every day to be positive. Mm-hmm. You could see the world half the cup half empty, or you could see it half full. We wasn't allowed to wear T-shirts with slogans that says, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or things like that, because my family believed that I need to give you toolboxes. I need to give you tools to put in your toolboxes. Mm-hmm. And that will sustain you through life. If we're present or not, you'll be able to make it. And so with that, I learned to depend on that. Each choice, each encounter that I made, it made a difference.
So it's interesting you talk about being positive as being a choice. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I talk to all the new hires at orientation. I talk about, you know, their brand. And if you don't have a personal brand, you know, circle back around to see what people say about you after you leave the room. Yes. But we have to choose to be positive. And how can we encourage others to make that same choice?
Every day, living, I believe each encounter that you make, every day, live in it, thinking before you speak, knowing that this is the impact you want to make on life. Those are the things that I was taught growing up. Those are things that I live by each and every day. I do believe that as a leader, we have to display those things and live by it. We look at Quint Studer. We read Quint Studer. And Quint Studer tell us the hardwire for excellence. Mm-hmm. Every day. That's the principles that my family gave to us, is that empower people to be better than they are today.
Well, that's very encouraging, and one that we would hope that we could, if we want to spread a contagion, this is a contagion we want to spread, and that's that positive attitude. So bringing a positive attitude to a tough work situation is a skill and environment where you work. The CCU cares for people who are critically ill. Both medical and sometimes trauma patients are there, and you have family members who are worried about them. Often you have to deliver bad news. Talk about how your positive attitude is part of the hope and healing you and your team perform in those crucial conversations.
You know, I get excited each and every day of what we have to offer. We are an organization of excellence. We have scholars at work every day bringing out best practices. So I get inspired by that. I get encouraged by that. So each encounter when I enter that room, it allows me as a person, Dr. Coopwood, to look at each patient and bring out the best in that person and remind them that they're in the best of hands. our physicians at work, our CCU, our critical care team at work, doing what's best for their loved ones. And then I share with them to stay encouraged, take breaks, bring in music or whatever made that person excited, bring photos from home, encourage them to stay positive.
And that's so important, especially we're coming out of 2 years of being in a pandemic that we all experienced, but we didn't experience it like you and your nurses in the critical care unit. It put healthcare workers like yourself in even more difficult positions. Patients with COVID-19 had a lot of fear and uncertainty. Their families faced a lot of bad and uncertain news. Does it ever drag you down and make it hard for you to stay positive? And how do you help use that positivity to help with the mental health? Because it was a struggle for our nursing staff as we dealt with not only the illness and the death, but the patients as families who couldn't come in and visit.
You can get overwhelmed by looking at the COVID-19, but if you took one patient at a time, if you took the highlights out of one good thing that happened and celebrate those small wins, that's how you excel. When it came to our family members, I recall calling the families and letting the families know that we're here for you. Mm-hmm. Do you have any questions? I remember getting the iPhones and iPads we had and letting them see in the room of their loved ones, be able to connect with their loved ones in a personal way. It made a difference. Mm-hmm. And in our conference or our huddles, I would share with the team the great things that happened that day. And then we would put up little post-its on the bulletin board, those wins. And it got the individuals excited. It got the team excited. We would remind each other in huddles what great work we done that day. That made individuals feel like we made a difference. And then as we walk up the walkway to see the signage that you and your team put up for us, the foundation that said heroes work here, and the lunch that you all provided each and every day, kept us motivated, encouraged. And once again, we work at a teaching organization. And so as you had individuals that would transfer their loved ones to our organizations from across the tri-state, that let us know that we was doing something special. And that in itself made a difference. So it wasn't too hard. It wasn't too hard to do that. And I'm excited about the workplace. I'm excited about the team, bringing best practices every day to every patient we serve. Dr. Coopwood.
Well, I appreciate everything that you do, everything that your team does for our patients in this organization. It is, it's overwhelming to think about what these past 2 years did. And you kind of touched on it in the last question, but a little nugget with someone who is struggling with personal issues. How do you kind of get out of yourself when you see your team needs to be encouraged, and how do you find that energy to encourage a team and then maybe allow yourself to go around the corner to get yourself back together?
Yes. I can tell you, looking at individuals, you don't want to minimize the pain they're feeling. You want to acknowledge that. At the same time, while you're acknowledging it, you want to show gratitude for life and for how you made it through your past circumstances, what brought you to today. It makes a difference. It encourages individuals. I see individuals just light up. So as you're that person that walks in the room, you have to maintain and be true to yourself. Good morning. It makes a difference just by saying the word good morning. Dr. Coopwood, I can say good morning, and that good morning doesn't bring a presence. When I walk through the door of the critical care unit every day, I say, good morning, team. If they don't respond to me in the good morning, I back up and say, good morning. I didn't like the way that one came out. It made a difference to the team, and that is my living testament, that I want to every single day make a difference in someone's life. I'm excited. I'm excited where we're headed. I'm excited where the team have already brought us to this point, and I'm excited for your leadership, sir.
Well, I appreciate that, and my kind of mantra for leadership is find the right people to embrace the vision, and let them loose and do their job. And that's I don't worry about what goes on in the CCU, because I know Ms. Miner's in charge. So kind of changing gears just a little bit, and again I see this in orientation. A lot of young people sometimes haven't been exposed to a professional environment. Sometimes never been held accountable to even just smile, just to even have a positive, the basic positive attitude. So have you found that staying positive, A, has helped you achieve your goals, and then B, what would you tell someone how their attitude can help them be successful?
That's a great question. When I encounter the one-on-ones with the staff, I ask them, what motivates you? What get you your creative juice flowing in the morning? What impact you want to make to this critical care population? Mm-hmm. What do you offer the team? I get to know that individual. And then we go over those expectations. After we disarm or have individuals feel like they make a difference, they matter, their opinions matter, it causes us to become innovative. And I'm excited because there's expectation of that critical care team. As I shared earlier, when I walk through that door, they know. Yesterday, Dr. Coopwood, I walked through the door, and I had a young lady that was struggling, going through some things. We just had experienced a cold blue, and it was one of the first experience for that new hire. Mm. And I can tell you, it was that person said, Miss Lori, I just don't feel well after this one. And I said, tell me why. Tell me, what did you do? And as she started articulating the things that she had done, when she left that conversation, she felt better. Wow. We gave her a purpose. Mm-hmm. In the next encounter, I'm sure she's going to recall that moment that we spoke about, of how she made a difference to that family. That family was still holding their loved one's hands, still being able to say, I love you, still at the bedside, appreciating life with their loved one. It makes a difference. And then you did that. So I reminded her, your attentiveness to the details made a difference. Being right there at the bedside with that family member made a difference. That's why we're here. That's why people keep coming back to our critical care unit. It's because we love what we do, and we show it with each person. That's why I chose Regional One Health. It's a teaching organization. I can make a difference, and I can be innovative and part of a multi-D team. You look at it and it's not us against them. Mm-hmm. And we remind our team, each time the providers are rounding, you're a nurse, get in there, think, and make a difference for your patients. Our patient care assistants, they're part of the team. Mm-hmm. It's not just us against them. it is rewarding to be a part of an organization where you can bring out your best you each and every day. So that is how we get individuals to understand and make the difference that professionalism is not compromised in the critical care unit. There is an expectations, that's a standard. I live by it, and if I live by it, you must live by it.
Well, that's the definition of a leader. I have a quote here from one of your colleagues, and it talks about the positivity and how it creates huge transformation. She says, "There are days when I come in and I don't feel my best. Lori comes through the door, and I want to match her spirit and energy."
Wow.
And you've talked about the lessons that can be learned from that, and the importance that is to be able to do it. You know, I had some conversations with Linda Hewlett and Rachel as we were managing our budget and trying to pay nurses fairly in this market where they've become a rarity. And I told Linda, and I said, "Linda, we'll make the financial adjustments that we need to and that we can afford."
Yes.
I said, "But when we create that environment where people want to be, you know, there are some CCUs in this city or this country that we could pay them $1,000 an hour and they still wouldn't want to work in that environment."
Yes.
So when you match what you just described in the CCU
Thank you.
with a appropriate level of payment to keep people financially happy, people want to be in an environment where they, you know, we've had nurses who have left for more money and come back, I've heard, because they miss the environment that you create, and that's the most important thing. I hope if people take away one thing from this, it's that we really do impact on the people that we interact with.
Yes.
That smile, if my face is down and out, how am I going to encourage the people who report to me? And that's so important. Remember that you leave a mark during each encounter you have, whether it's with a patient, a family member, or a colleague, and whoever that is, it's important that you understand that. I always say the wake you leave behind you is what's important. That's what people see, and that's what people feel. You can choose to make your best effort to have those interactions to be positive interactions. And the more positive interactions we have, the more we encourage others to be positive. That's what having a contagious positive attitude is all about. You live that daily. You exemplify that, and we are so proud of you as a leader in this organization and taking care of the people who take care of our critical ill patients. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of all of Regional One Health for what you do, how you lead, and how your people respond to your contagious positive attitude. May it go throughout the organization.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Lunch with Dr. Coopwood, a podcast series that features Dr. Coopwood in conversations with people around Regional One Health and elsewhere who are making a difference with our premier behaviors.